No, you have an amazing event coming up, and I would like very much for you to introduce that to the listeners.
Well, the event's called God and Country Veterans Living History Event. I know it's a long title, but it's all about living history. Right? We all grew up going to school and we read through the books, and you know, no matter what part of history you gravitated to, it was always past. You didn't have anything real. Couldn't touch it, couldn't hear it, couldn't feel it. You couldn't get necessarily the emotion that you could get from someone live. And the reason why we put this program together is that our veterans who gave us this country, you know, all from the start, from the Revolutionary War, it was just an amazing country that we live in. So I thought it was an opportunity to grab what's living left. You know, I'm not so worried about what's in the books. I'm worried about who's here today to tell about it. The real story, the truth, what they went through. Gives us an attachment, an emotional attachment to these guys that you read about in the books. And so we try to bring the most, we try to front load the event with as many World War II veterans as we can, because obviously they're the ones that are dying off the fastest, and the stories are just amazing. And then we work our way through Korea, Vietnam, and Iraq and Afghanistan. And every story, a lot of the stories are the same. They've gone through hell, but it's different. I don't know, just something about the World War II veterans. It's just, those stories are just,
you know, I have this
they're spellbound.
This expression, Bob, that stories change lives and stories of lives changed make all the difference in the lives today. Because if we can look back by listening and feeling what it is that they went through, our depth of appreciation can only grow for what we have now. Because it was hard won, and it was a difficult time for people that will never know. What you're bringing to the forefront with this event and their stories is so special.
It's very emotional. I can guarantee you that anybody that comes to this event will leave much more emotionally enriched than they ever thought of. I can tell you one example last year when we had Edie Meeks speaking. She was a Vietnam nurse. And she first, basically she finished her speech. It was kind of a straight-on speech. It was good, it was nice, but it was, you couldn't get that connection, emotional connection yet.
Yeah.
And then we opened it to questions, and as soon as the first question came out, all of a sudden it unlocked her, her mind and her emotions, and then all of a sudden it just came flowing out, and the rest of her, and she kept talking for another 20 minutes, and all of a sudden became, my boys, these are my boys that I took care of. She wasn't talking so much like that in the beginning, but then her emotions came out, and after everything was done, at the end of the day, the people that were there just said this story was one of the best stories ever heard.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it really gets you, because I want to bring the emotion out to the people that know what these veterans went through. When you leave this event, you'll have a much better understanding of why these people did what they did and what they did for us. In keeping our country free, preserving our way of life. You know, I'm a Christian. I love Jesus Christ. He's my Lord and Savior. And these guys fought under that emotion. You know, yeah, there were some atheists, but the old saying is, "There's no atheist in a foxhole."
What's the first thing we say when we get hurt? Oh God,
and,
you know.
And you know, more times than not, when I hear these stories from these veterans, they bring their faith out. They're very adamant about it. They wouldn't make it through without it.
Indeed, indeed. And then moving forward, what is this going to be, a roving event?
Well, what it is it's November 2nd, Saturday, November 2nd. All right. And it's going to be at the Best Western Hotel in Kingston, New York. And we start at 8:15 in the morning, and we'll be finished by 3:45 with a break for lunch. Okay. And the hotel puts on a beautiful hot buffet lunch. Okay. You can't miss it. And then the dinner is going to be very emotional. Also, we've got that starts at 6 to 6:30, a social hour. Then 6:30 to about 9:30 is the dinner. We have the Kingston High School choir coming to perform. There's 55 students, and they will fill the room up, and they're going to start the evening off with the Star Spangled Banner. In fact, they're probably going to sing all 3 stanzas, they said. They've got like 9 songs they're going to sing: Amazing Grace, the Battle Hymn of the Republic, several other songs.
Oh boy!
And it's really going to start the evening off very emotional. And then we have Roseanne Sarita, who will be performing later in the show. She just co-wrote a veteran song called American Baby that's done very well right now. She's quite a well-known artist around the Hudson Valley. So we're pretty excited about that. And then we also will have our veteran speakers there, obviously, and we're honoring all our veterans that evening. But what's really exciting is the lineup that we've been able to put together is that to come during the daytime and hear these real stories right from the heart. I mean, these guys are willing to tell their stories. There's still a lot of World War II veterans out there that can't even get to that point. They can't even talk about it. And these guys went through all that hell, and they're willing to talk about it. They can get it off their chest. And, you know, we've got a lineup that's, you know, we got Jack Holder, who is a Pearl Harbor survivor. And his story is amazing in its own right. He survived the bombing of Pearl Harbor. In fact, him and 4 other men, they were on Ford Island, and they jumped into an open sewer ditch that was being worked on. And the Jap came right through and strafed him right through the ditch. And he could see the eyes and the face of that pilot. That's how close he was.
Wow!
And they survived that time and that strafing. And then after that, his unit was sent over to Midway in May of '42, and his PBY unit was the ones that went up and discovered the Japanese at the Battle of Midway.
Oh my
so he was involved in that. And then he had a torpedo on the PBY, and they dropped it, and they sunk a Japanese sub at the battle. So it's just an amazing story in its own right. In fact, him and Hank Kudzik, who was at our event 2 years ago, they are going to be in Hollywood right after our event. They have to be out there by Tuesday for the opening of the movie Midway that's coming out. And they wanted them there because of survivors of the Battle of Midway, and they're going to give them the red carpet rollout.
That's awesome.
What's the website?
The website is, we do have a great website. It's www.godandcountryny.com, and that's the word AND spelled out. godandcountryny.com. And for tickets, you can call me at 845-629-2864. Again, it's 845-629-2864. You can buy tickets on Eventbrite. You can get that off our website also, or just go on Eventbrite and punch in God and Country Veterans Living History event. The tickets are very, very reasonable. They're $25 for adults for the daytime event, $20 for veterans, and $15 for students. We're encouraging students and adults and veterans to come to this event. It's all this is only half our program. Let me just finish the list here, and then I can back up what we're doing on Friday. The next veteran we have is a battalion death march survivor. There's only about 10 living right now, and it's an amazing story to hear about them. They were basically the sacrificial lambs for the war, and that's unfortunate. That's the way it went, and their story is just unbelievable. And then when they come home, the story was told to be kept quiet by MacArthur. They couldn't talk about it for over 50 years. They got no benefits. So it was really a rough time for these guys. And the people don't really understand that, know that. They don't really know that they fought for 4 months, and that changed the course of the war in the Pacific.
Wow.
That whole war would have been totally different if it was for them holding off the Japanese, because they were going to invade Australia, and they kept them from doing that.
Wow.
No, it's a huge part, but nobody really gives them the credit for that. So we're going to have a real veteran that was there. He's going to be here to tell his story. I mean, it's just incredible. And then we have Tom Rice, 101st Airborne, paratrooper dropped in D-Day. He jumped into Market Garden. He jumped into, he fought in Bastogne. He fought all through Hitler's Eagle's Nest. He was wounded. In fact, he was the one that just dropped in this past June. At 97 years old, he jumped into the Normie again. Tandem jump.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Right?
Look up Tom Rice on Google, you'll find him.
Yeah.
So
I actually saw that picture.
Yeah, it's amazing. So
Yeah,
good to
it is.
hear.
Yeah.
And then we have Richard Dick Donald, who was on a destroyer escort. He was at the Battle of Lady Gulf, Iwo Jima, and Okinawa, and his ship was kamikaze morning and night. His story is just rip you apart, and he can tell it like you won't believe. You'll be emotional after he's done talking, because he can bring it. And he's a professor at a couple of colleges, so he knows how to speak. He's just amazing.
You'll love to hear him
Nice.
speak. He's got his book coming out actually this month.
How exciting!
Yeah, it is.
Excellent.
And then we also have a Holocaust survivor and Tibor Spitz,
Yes.
who you just did the podcast with, so I won't go deeper into that. We also have
Man, the myth, the legend.
Dwayne Trowbridge, who is a Marine from Korean time frame, and in fact he landed at Incheon and he fought through the Chosin Reservoir battle, which is just an amazing story on its own. He's shot twice, once in the head, so he's a member of the chosen few. And then we also have Matthew Royce there. I'm sorry, get the paper there. I missed it there, his name.
It's quite the lineup.
Yeah, well,
I can't
the thing
imagine
is,
all these stories. You better have a box of Kleenex at every table.
Oh yeah.
Times 2.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's I'm sorry, Royce Williams, and his story is amazing. His story was kept top secret for 50 years because he was on the USS Oriskany, and next door to the Oriskany was an NSA ship, and they were able to listen in on the Russian pilots' conversations. And then 4 fighter planes took off, and he was one of the 4, and then one of them had engine trouble, so they had to turn back, and another one had to follow him back, and you see him, there's 2 of them out there. And he ended up coming across 7 MiGs with Russian pilots, and he ended up shooting 4 of them down, which our jets were less, they weren't as good as the Russian MiGs. And so it was amazing. When he landed, he had 264 bullet holes in his plane. So they couldn't believe that he came home alive. And
Some people are just meant to make it, aren't they?
Yeah,
honestly.
but they had to keep the story quiet because they didn't want the Russians knowing that we could listen on their conversations.
Of course.
So then we got Butch Pettit, who was a Vietnam tunnel rat, and the story's going to blow you away. He was there for 66 through early 67, a year in Vietnam, and 25th Infantry Division, and believe me, he's got a raw story. And then we finished with Leo Krasuski. He was a Green Beret Special Forces, and he was in on the first mission to find Osama bin Laden in Tora Bora.
Good golly!
And he was, and then he was also wounded, seriously wounded, and one of his closest friends was killed in a rocket attack.
Oi.
So it's quite a story.
Oh my God!
And then he's got a tremendous story of PTSD at the end. I mean, hope his wife will bring forward that part of the story. I won't tell it right now, but it had me crying when I got through reading it. Very emotional part of it with him and his wife. And so it's a tremendous lineup. It's a no-brainer that people want to be there. It's just that it's difficult to get the students to come because it's football season and they're always on their games and stuff. So when a student does come to this event, they're in awe. They just don't know what they don't know, and unfortunate. And trying to get them is just a challenge. But
yes.
Boy, when they get there, they don't want to leave and they're quiet.
Yes, no doubt, no doubt. Well, it's an event not to miss, and we will definitely put the poster into the film as a slide. But please go ahead and do a shot of that. And gosh, guys, this is an event that you wouldn't want to miss. These are living stories, living history. That really, stories do change lives, and these are stories of lives changed. And it's our lives that are changed as a result of what these men have been through and are here to tell you about. I hope that you'll find inspiration from this conversation and that you'll make it to the event. Thank you so much.
Well,
Bob.
thank you, Lonnee, for letting us talk about it, and we just hope people come. It's just something you really don't want to miss.
Indeed.
Bob single-handedly started that whole event.
Well, you know what?
I'll
tell you one story real quick, and you don't have to put this on if you don't want to. People ask me, how did you come up with the name of the event and the title and everything? And I said, well, I would get visions in church, and I had to struggle with it for like 2012. I'd already done like 2 events in 05 and 06, and I was burned out from it, and because it took so much to put into it, because I put 120% into it.
Yes.
But anyways, I was struggling with it in 2012 that I wanted to do another event, and I wanted to do it right, because I always take this each time we do an event, and it's the last one I'll do. Because you have to put it all into it, otherwise it just doesn't come out. And I was struggling with it. My wife said she wouldn't help me anymore if I didn't bring God into it. And I said, you're right. I said, he'll bless your event if you bring him into it. And I said, so I was struggling for a year trying to figure out what I should be doing. He kept giving me visions, and I didn't know what to do with it. And he gave me the title, God and Country. He gave me the 50C name, which is called Veterans Honor for His Glory. He gave that to me in church. And then finally, I couldn't stand it any longer. I was just going crazy trying to figure out, am I supposed to do this or not? And because I knew the commitment required.
Yeah.
And finally, one day after, at the end of church service, I sat alone and I just told him, I said, you know, when you have your troubles, you give it to God. You let we as humans take it on and we think we can handle it and solve our problems. Well, you can't. It's God that's going to guide you. He's going to give you the insight and the knowledge of how to conduct your life.
Our best efforts got us this far.
Yeah.
You know, we need something else to make it different.
And so I finally just gave it to him, and all of a sudden I said to him, God, if I'm supposed to do this, then it's going to be all about you. And as soon as I said that, he hit me like a bolt of lightning, and I just broke down crying. I couldn't stop crying for probably 5 minutes solid. And I heard his voice tell me, I want to rush your event now.
Wow.
And this was what was very tough to, you know, I was nervous about, is that my event was going to be bringing these veterans into Beach Stadium and having the high school band, 200 members, playing patriotic music as they walk in, and being Columbus Day weekend, I was so scared that the weather would be terrible. And when he said he'd bless the event, I knew then that I had the confidence that I'd have to worry about a single thing. And that day we had the event, it was 82 degrees out, and not a cloud in the sky. So,
ta-da!
Ta-da.
High five, Holmes. Good job. Thank you so much for all you're doing.
Well, I appreciate you letting me to speak about it and trying to get the word out.
Yes.
But it's all about this event. It's got nothing to do with me, so I just want people to understand it. I don't want any light on this at all on myself. It's not me. This light is on. It's on Tibor, the survivors, and our veterans that fought for us, and it's all about them. I'm just behind the scenes.
I hear you, but if it wasn't for you, it wouldn't be happening. So there you go.
Well, you have to have people.
Nice to be modest, but you did it.
Yeah. So thank you very much for all your time.
Thank you for doing it, and Rick, and thank you for picking it up here.
My pleasure.
Yeah. And one more wave goodbye from Tibor.
Yeah, Tibor.
One more. Tibor. On the camera. Yeah.
Soft Tibor. One more soft.
I got them all in.
This is going to be one heck of an event.
You don't want to miss it.
No.
Okay, no rabbit ears. Okay, signing off.
Cheers.